After a demanding workday, successful investment banker Daniel walks inside a bar. The ambience of the bar is warm and intimate with low lighting. Daniel sees a familiar face across the room as he places his drink order. Tommy, a former roommate from college, is seated at a table and deeply engaged in discussion with other individuals. When Tommy and Daniel finally meet, there's a brief exchange of startled recognition. Daniel is waved over by Tommy, who has since come out as gay. After greeting each other, they start talking about their college years, especially their lacrosse team days. They become excited to see each other after a long time and decide to spend their evening together to rejoice in their past and also to explore their unresolved feelings. After having a few too many beers one evening, Tommy and Daniel find themselves at Tommy's flat. There is a lot of unsaid tension in the air, and Daniel gives Tommy a kiss out of vulnerability. The kiss soon develops into a passionate kiss. Daniel has been repressing deep-seated impulses, and this is evident from the situation full of raw emotion and longing. Daniel looks a little perplexed while Tommy is telling him about the crush he had on him in his college days. He also tells him that his mother, Sandra Millers, was Daniel's professor in college, which leaves him surprised. They give one another a heartfelt embrace, demonstrating the close relationship they shared while in college. Daniel asks Tommy about his life. He replies with an interesting story about her mom's physical relations, his birth, and his mom bumping into him being physical with one of her friends. When Tommy's friend asks if this whole story is true, he denies it by saying that he just wanted Daniel to fall in love with him. Tommy reveals that he has been following Daniel for 2 weeks from now. They decided to spend another night together. Tommy tells his friend that they got intimate once again, and the next moment he took a picture of Daniel's back. The talk is easy to follow and is full of nostalgia and laughter. But as both men consider how much their lives have changed since college, there's an underlying tension. Daniel's more traditional life path contrasts with Tommy's transparency about his sexuality, and this disparity establishes the emotional terrain for the subsequent voyage. The two men develop a strong chemistry as the evening goes on and they exchange more intimate tales. Daniel awakens in Tommy's apartment the morning following their unplanned night together. Soft morning light floods the space, creating an atmosphere of peaceful intimacy. As Daniel surveys his new surroundings, the truth of what happened the night before starts to set in. Daniel is given one of the 2 coffee cups that Tommy brings into the room. Tommy breaks the tense pause between them by making a light-hearted remark about Daniel's snoring. As a result, the tension decreases and they begin discussing their day's plans. Tommy tries to ascertain Daniel's sentiments regarding their exchange as they carry on speaking. Daniel attempts to minimize the importance of their night together by claiming it was a one-time occurrence, but he is still perplexed and troubled. Tommy, on the other hand, is more honest about how he feels and says he hopes they may continue to develop their relationship. Tommy is forced to face the truth. By telling Tommy that he is engaged to Jen, he deepens their bond. It is revealed that Daniel is actually telling his whole love story to one of his friends who is so excited and asks him to tell him more. Tommy is telling his friend about Daniel and how he is attracted to Daniel physically as well as emotionally, and also shows him the picture of Daniel's back. His friend asks why he didn't tell him about their physical relationship, to which Tommy replies that he is not the type who kisses and tells. His friend is so excited to know more about this gay love story. Tommy follows Daniel the next day to the gym where he encounters Jen, Daniel's fiancée. Daniel has decided to suppress his love for Tommy and move through with the wedding despite his feelings for him. Tommy is hesitantly introduced to Jen by Daniel, but they quickly become friends. He introduces himself as Daniel's friend and a lawyer. Tommy then devises a plan to win Daniel over by asking him to a college alumni reunion where there will be only boys. Daniel refuses at first. Jen persuades Daniel to attend the reunion with Tommy by telling him that once she's married, she won't let him out of her sight. However, when Daniel arrives, he discovers that Tommy has arranged a secluded country retreat for just the 2 of them, instead of the anticipated reunion. Jen and Daniel meet and there is an intimate atmosphere. As Jen leans in, her eyes sparkling with anticipation, she starts kissing him passionately. However, Daniel's response seems hesitant, his mind preoccupied by a recent encounter with his gay friend from the past, causing him to hold back despite Jen's bold advances. Tommy and Daniel head towards Tommy's place where they meet his mother. She is so excited to meet Tommy and Daniel. They grab some snack while sitting on a table and talking. Daniel also expresses his excitement by telling Tommy's mom that it's good to be at this old place again. Tommy eagerly ushered Daniel into his room, eager to spend some quality time with his friend. However, Daniel politely asked Tommy to leave, assuring him that they would meet again the following day. True to his word, the next day was filled with running around and intense matches of chess as Tommy and Daniel enjoyed each other's company. While playing, Tommy asks Daniel if he loves Jen. Daniel ignores his question, and the conversation leads to a romantic moment where they kiss each other. It goes a little far, and they end up in the bed where Tommy tells Daniel that no matter if he is having a fling, but he loves him, to which Daniel replies that he loves Jen. Getting back to Jen, Daniel makes her happy and satisfied by being physically intimate with her. She is surprised to see Daniel in such a passionate mood. Both indulge in a steamy romance. Daniel is playing golf with his father. His father tells him that he has a wedding gift for him, which is a golf club membership, which is very expensive otherwise. At Daniel's bachelor party, one of his friends, James, stands up and gives a speech in honor of Daniel and praises him. He cracks some jokes about how all of Daniel's friends used to be getting intimate with girls and Daniel was always found in his home studying. This made Daniel a little awkward because no one except Daniel himself knew the truth in that gathering. Daniel is surprised when a strip dancer starts dancing and stripping in front of him, making his bachelorette party more interesting. After the party, Daniel, clearly inebriated, stumbles over to Tommy's door and knocks. When Tommy opens the door, Daniel attempts to kiss him, but Tommy intervenes and prevents it. Tommy and his friend both take a seat together on the cozy couch. Tommy offers his shoulder as a supportive place for his friend to rest his head, and together they sit in peaceful silence for a while. The following day, Tommy prepared for the momentous occasion of attending Daniel's wedding. Tommy's friend is also helping him get ready and tells him that he looks good in white tuxedo and black waistcoat. The ceremony took place in a beautiful church, where Daniel and Jen exchanged heartfelt vows, sealing their love and commitment to each other. Meanwhile, as the joyous event unfolded, Tommy quietly made his exit. The newlyweds play golf and have some intimate moments in bed. Jen meets Tommy at the gym, where she tells him about her friend Alex and that she wants to set him up with her so that they can go on a double date. Tommy agrees to this, hoping to make Daniel jealous. On the double date, Tommy flirts with Alex, and also while talking he tries to make eye contact with Daniel, who is continuously avoiding eye contact. During their conversation, they discussed Jen's preference for lacrosse players and shared the story of how she and Daniel first crossed paths. Alex asks Jen to come with her to the ladies' room. She looks suspicious as if she has noticed something. Upon seeing Jen, she confides in her about her suspicions regarding Tommy's sexual orientation and his attraction to Daniel. Jen responds with disbelief and dismisses the idea with a laugh. Tommy tells Daniel that he misses him and asks him if he misses him too, but before Daniel can answer him, the ladies barge in. The next morning, Alex calls Jen and tells her that she was right about Tommy, that he is gay. She tells her that they still had sex. While on call, Jen tells Daniel, who is lying in the bed beside her, that Tommy is gay, who completely ignores her and tries to get away from the situation. Daniel visits Tommy and tells him that he misses him and loves him. He seemed to be jealous of the fact that Tommy had sex with Alex. He tried to get intimate with Tommy, but Tommy refused and told him to go back to his wife. At the gym, Jen apologizes to Tommy for misunderstanding and setting him up with Alex. She asked him for dinner as Daniel was working late. At the dinner table, the conversation turned to Tommy's experience as a gay man. He took the time to share with Jen what it means to him to be gay. Despite the serious topic, they both enjoyed their conversation and had a wonderful evening together. Jen comes back home with Daniel sitting and waiting for her. When he learns that Jen is out with Tommy, he becomes jealous. Jen attempts to persuade him by pointing out that Tommy is gay. She explains that Tommy is always occupied, so it would be beneficial for him to spend time with someone. He understands and tells her that they'll get away this weekend for some family time. The next day, Daniel visits Tommy and hands him over his jacket. He also requests Tommy to leave his wife alone and walks away. Tommy is with his friend, who tells him that Daniel loves him, but he is not going to leave his wife for Tommy. They go for dancing and Daniel sneakily follows them to the club. Late at night, there is a knock on the door. Jen asks Daniel to see who's at the door. Drunk Tommy is at the door and tells Daniel that he loves him and that he saw him at the club. Jen comes and asks if there's everything right. Tommy tries to say something to Daniel but goes away saying that he is drunk. The next morning, Jen meets Tommy, who apologizes for his drunk knocking at the door. Jen tells Tommy that she is pregnant. She seems so excited. Tommy acts to be happy and surprised by this news and tells Jen that Daniel is going to be so happy when he learns about this. During a romantic candlelit dinner, Jen decides to share some life-changing news with Daniel. Nervously, she tells him that she is pregnant. Daniel's eyes widen in surprise, but a smile soon spreads across his face as he expresses his overwhelming joy and excitement at the unexpected but incredible news. Daniel and Jen reveal this news to their parents and there's happy hugging. After some time, Tommy meets Daniel and Jen and introduces them to a man named Luke. He then announces that he is getting married to Luke. This news shocks Daniel, who is unable to say a word. Feeling that something is wrong, Jen leaves the place in anger. Later, at home, Jen asks Daniel if he is gay. He denies it and insists that he loves her. However, Jen becomes emotional and asks if he loves Tommy. Despite Daniel's reassurances that she is the only one he loves, Jen continues to press the issue. Finally, Daniel confesses that he doesn't know who he is. This leads Jen to tell him that she is leaving him, leaving Daniel behind as she leaves the home in tears. Daniel is feeling extremely upset and longing for Jen. He is grappling with a great deal of confusion about the direction he wants his life to take. He calls his colleague to say he's not feeling well and won't be able to come to the office. Then he visits Tommy, but he is not home. Suddenly he appears behind Daniel. Daniel tells him that Jen has left. Tommy expresses sympathy for him. Daniel in turn congratulates Tommy and says he's happy for him as he is getting married. He asks Tommy if he loves Luke, the man he is about to marry. Tommy expresses his happiness and love for Luke. Daniel shares his fear of being alone, but Tommy reassures him, complimenting his looks and predicting that he will be a great father. They say goodbye to each other. Later, Daniel is sitting with his parents, indicating that he has confided in them about everything. Daniel arrives at Tommy's place bearing a thoughtful wedding gift, only to be greeted by the somber news that the wedding has been cancelled. Over coffee with Tommy's mother, Daniel uncovers the truth about Tommy's father. She mentions that Tommy has cold feet, which deeply upset Daniel. When Daniel visits Tommy, he discovers that Tommy has moved and his new address is unknown. In his search for Tommy at a dance club, Daniel comes up empty-handed. Daniel's father inquires about Jen, and Daniel reveals that she has gone to her mother's. Daniel also informs his dad that he has quit his job, to which his dad offers his support. Later, Jen calls Daniel and shares updates about their child's well-being. She reassures Daniel, affirming that he married the wrong person but acknowledging that they will remain friends and that he will always be a father to their daughter. Daniel strolls across a calm park. The scenery is bathed in a warm, golden glow as the sun sets. Daniel and his daughter are in the park after he has successfully navigated his turbulent path of self-acceptance and discovery. Bright-eyed and innocent, the baby is smiling while lying in the stroller. Her focus is apparent as she tucks her tongue between her lips. Daniel inhales deeply, relishing this private moment with his daughter. He understands how far he's gone from his past troubles and feels a strong sense of pride and affection for his daughter.